unit, we've been talking about how to divide fractions and whole numbers. Today we're going to be talking about how to divide unit fractions by other unit fractions. So you can use a number line to divide a unit fraction. Well, what is a unit fraction? A unit fraction is a fraction with a numerator that is 1 and a denominator of a whole number that is greater than 1. So an example of this would be 1/5, 1/2, 1/3, 1/18. Those are all examples of unit fractions. I want you to go ahead and copy down this definition and give yourself an example as well in case you're not quite sure based on the wording what it's talking about. Okay? So, let's work through this one together and see what to do. A customer orders a half-pound of tuna for a special treat for his cat. He asks the deli workers to divide the tuna into 1/10 pound pieces so each cat gets the same treat. How many cats does this customer have? And let's show how we know. So he orders 1/2 a pound of tuna. And he wants to get it divided into 1/10 pieces. Whenever you are dividing two unit fractions, you're going to skip the first fraction, change your sign to a multiplication problem, and flip your second fraction. It's the skip, change, flip method that we talked about in 5th grade. So your first number is going to stay the same. 1/2 will still be 1/2. Your division problem is going to change to a multiplication problem. And your 1/10 is going to flip, and you're going to use the reciprocal, which is 10/1. Alright? Now that we have a multiplication problem, we've been working with this a lot, we know that we can just multiply straight across and get our product. So, if we were to multiply the numerator, we would do 1 times 10, which would be 10. And the denominator is 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay? Well, this can be simplified a little bit more. We know that 10 divided by 2, we have 10/2, it's like a division problem. 10 divided by 2 would give us a whole number, which is 5. Well, I'd at least hope you'd have a whole cat and not a fraction of a cat. So the person at the deli has 5 cats. Let's go ahead and erase this and move on. Alright. Alright, here's the next problem. Find 1/2 divided by 1/4 on a number line. So I want you to copy this one down as well. Go ahead and copy down the directions. And you're going to have 4 different steps you're going to copy down as well. So step 1 is draw or use a number line. Because you want to divide by 1/4, divide the number line into fourths. So here's an example of what that looks like. I know it's going to be a fraction, so I'm going to go from 0 to 1. Because 1/4 I know is smaller than 1. Alright, and we're dividing that into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Step 2. Label the dividend 1/2 on the number line. The number line shows fourths, and 2/4 equals 1/2. So we know that we're doing 1/2 divided by 1/4. Well, half of the number line is about right here. So y'all see that it's halfway between 0 and 1. Okay? So great, we labeled the dividend 1/2 on the number line. The number line shows fourths. So what I would do right here is go ahead and pause it and finish copying down. You want to copy down the steps and a picture of the number line. And I would use more than one color when making this number line because it's going to be a little bit more complicated once we move on to step 3 and 4. So go ahead and pause it and then we'll pick up where we left off. so here's step 3. Step 3 says use ovals to divide the 1/2 into segments of the length. So 1/2 was right here. And we're dividing it into segments of length 1/4. So here's one oval. We know that this is a 1/4, and this is a 1/4. Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those to get a whole. Okay? So we have our half and we split that into 4ths. Make sure you draw your ovals as you go. Step 4. Count the number of equal segments to find the quotient. Again, we have 1/2. We have 2 4ths. So count the number of equal segments to find the quotient. Well, we have 2 equal parts that go up to 1/2. So because we have 2 equal parts, our answer is going to be 2. Now to prove this is true, let's go ahead and solve it the reciprocal way. The reciprocal way is 1/2 divided by 1/4. And we're going to use the skip, change, flip method. So you keep the first fraction the same. You change your division problem to a multiplication problem. And you flip your 1/4 into 4/1. Multiply your numerators together to get 4. Multiply your denominator together to get 2. Whenever you're looking at a fraction that is improper, think of it just like a division problem. 4 divided by 2. Well, that's going to give you 2. There's your answer. Whenever I'm solving a problem using a number line, I like to check it by using the reciprocal method. To divide unit fractions, you can use the same method you use to divide fractions and whole numbers. Alright, so using reciprocals. To find unit fractions, you can multiply it by the reciprocal of the divisor. So what is reciprocal? A reciprocal is a fraction that if you were to multiply it by your first fraction, you'll get 1. So say we have 1/4. The reciprocal of 1/4 would be 4/1. This is how you can prove that. The reciprocal, the answer, is going to be 1, because if you multiply the 2 fractions together, your product will be 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 1. 4/4 is the same thing as 1. Okay? That's a little example of what reciprocals are. Alright, so find 1/2 divided by 1/8. Alright, so for this one, we're going to use the reciprocal method, which is the skip, change, flip method. You're going to start with your first fraction. The 1/2 is going to stay the same. It will not change. Always leave the first fraction as is. So you can have 1/2. Change your sign from division to multiplication. And then you're going to have 8/1. The original fraction was 1/8. It changed to 8/1 because 8/1 is the reciprocal of 1/8. Okay? So now all you have to do is multiply straight across. 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Again, when you have an improper fraction, think of it like a division problem. 8 divided by 2. Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So your your quotient is going to be 4. Alright, the area of a rectangle hayfield is 172 square miles. If the field is 112 miles wide, how long in miles is the hayfield? So we know that the hayfield is going to be 1/72 of a mile. Okay? And we are trying to figure out if the field is 1/2 miles wide, we're trying to figure out how long the field is going to be. Well, we've come up with this before. We know that the area how to find the area of a rectangle would be doing area equals length times width. Okay? But right now we know what the area is and we know what the width is. So what we're trying to figure out is the length. So the length is going to be area divided by width. This will give us how long our field is. So we know that it is 1/12 of a mile wide. Okay. So if you're using the reciprocal method, here's what you're going to do. You're going to keep 172. You're going to change your sign from division to multiplication because your second fraction is going to flip. So you'll have 12 over 1 instead of 1/12. And look, when I'm looking at this multiplication problem, I can already see that 12 and 72 have a common factor, and that's 12. 12 can go into itself once, and can go into 72 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. So now your multiplication problem is a lot easier. You have 1/6 times 1 over 1. 1 times 1, 1 times 6. So the length of your field is going to be 1/6 of a mile long. I want you to make sure you copy this down. Your teacher will be looking for this, so make sure you show your teacher after you finish walking out through every step. All right, so I think now you're ready to solve a problem on your own. I want you to figure this one out by yourself and then get your neighbor or Miss Kennedy to check it. Before you put your notebook away, make sure your math teacher, Miss Kennedy or Miss Carpenter or one of the beautiful assistants check your work before you begin your homework. Our problem right now for you to work on your own is going to be to solve the problem 1/5 divided by 1/3. Show all of your steps. When you find your quotient, let your teacher see your answer to see if it's correct. All right, I know you can do this. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. When you get finished, go ahead and get on the digit 6 too.